I got the iPhone XR on release day, and yes, XR, I'm not calling it the 10R, sorry. If they wanted to call it 10, put the number 10. But this thing, the iPhone XR, which I think most people are going to call it, is pretty much the most perfect phone I've ever owned. Now, a lot of people are making comparisons between this and the iPhone XS or the XS Max, and I think that's the totally wrong comparison. If you're shopping for an iPhone, this, in my opinion, is exactly what you want. It has a great screen size, great battery life, and a price that's really not that bad. Now, I'm upgrading from an iPhone 6s Plus, which is over 3 years old at this point. It's a great phone, the most favorite phone I ever owned up to this point. But now that I have the XR, it completely makes the 6s Plus look like an old piece of garbage. And it's not. It's still a great phone. I still like that phone. But when I have both of them in my hands, one just feels totally different than the other. The design is dated looking. The home button I don't miss. I really like just being able to swipe up and go from there. And the size difference doesn't really feel any different. I had a slightly smaller case on my old phone and I have a slightly thicker one on my new phone. So the size difference is basically the same at this point. Now, going back to earlier, we talked about the comparison between the other iPhones and this iPhone. I really don't think that's a fair comparison. A lot of people are saying that the XR is very expensive, but if you look back to other flagship iPhones, this thing fits right in line with everything. Between the size and storage, it really just lines up exactly with what used to be. And for $50 more, you can double your storage, which is the best bargain you can get out of any iPhone anywhere. Now let's get a couple of things that people I've heard talk about this thing get out of the way right away. First off, the screen is fine. There is no discernible difference between this and an OLED, except for the blacky blacks. Yeah, an OLED's a little better, but you're paying like $200 or $300 more just to have that. And I personally don't think it's worth the price. The camera is fantastic. If you take a look at some of these shots I took, I mean, they're great. And portrait mode, awesome. Solid upgrade over the 6s Plus's camera. The speakers are also a big win. I mean, they're loud, they're clear, and I really like what they offer. It's much louder, much more clear than what my 6s Plus was. Now, there's a couple things I don't like about this phone, but they're really minor, and I think it's more just a learning curve that happens with any phone. And I mean, I legitimately mean any phone. When I got the 6s Plus up from my 6 and up from my 5s, there's a bunch of learning things I needed to do from there as well. So, as far as learning curves go, Face ID is fantastic, but not having a home button just takes a little bit of time. I'm only 2 weeks into it and I'm totally used to it at this point, but for the first day or two I found myself trying to go home and it's not an issue anymore. The control center placement is terrible. Up in the top right corner, they need to figure out something, either a dedicated button or a different way to access it more quickly. It's just not useful in that kind of remote corner. And going along with that, I really dislike that I can't see the battery percentage. I don't know why that change happened. I was able to do it on my old phone, but I can't see the percentage of my battery. It's not an option that I have. The only way I can do it is I have to either swipe down from the control center and I can see it there, or I can access it through the batteries widget. I also found myself turning on the flashlight a ton by accident. There's no 3D touch, which is fine because I never used or really liked 3D touch. Like moving around icons on my old phone was a pain in the butt. New phone, not a problem. But I always find when I take it out of the pocket, I grab part of the screen that turns the flashlight on. So that's kind of annoying, and to go along with that, you can't customize those buttons. Like, I'm cool with the flashlight being there, but the camera button is just silliness. I can just swipe to the right, and I'm in my camera instantly. There is zero reason for that to exist there. What I'd really like them to do is have some type of update where I can put something other in there. And the other thing that I would put in there is a calculator. I use my calculator a lot, and having to swipe to the control panel to get to it is a pain. So that's not my preferred way, and I also don't want the app button on my home screen because I have other things I want there. The only other thing that I really find that I do a lot now is I take a lot of screenshots by accident. The home button and the volume button are right next to each other, and that's your new way to take a screenshot, is hitting them both. So sometimes when I'm taking it out of my pocket, or I'm just trying to power the phone down, or just kind of lock the screen, I hit both those by accident, I take a screenshot, and then I have to go delete the screenshot, and it's annoying. So yeah, this little thing is great. I really like the size. I can reach everything very easily. It's not a problem to get to, and Face ID works great. But there are a few little annoyances. But if you're looking from anything from 6, 6S, 7, 8, I think this is a really solid upgrade. And again, you're not paying any more than what you did originally for the phone, and I think you're getting a lot more phone out of it. I've noticed a giant jump, and I know I'm way back on phones, but it feels fast, it's snappy, and I really just like it. For $800, 128 gigs of storage, and a fantastic, fantastic camera. It's everything I want in an iPhone.